Right, the first thing I want to talk about is the file ribbon, and the file ribbon is actually common to all three of the applications that we'll be learning: Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So it's something I want to make sure everyone has a good understanding of before we move forward. And the file ribbon is found by clicking File on the menu, and it's actually, I guess, Office actually calls it the dashboard, but the other things are called ribbons, so I tend to call it a ribbon. And we have a bunch of different choices on here, but they all work the same way in all three programs. So we have the Save and the Save As, and they are very, very similar. The first time you save a program, they work exactly the same way. After that, if you want to save the file in the same place with the same name, you can use the Save button. If you want to give it a new name or change it to a new place, say you want to put it on your thumb drive instead of on your hard drive, or you want to make, have a different version for some reason, you can use Save As. Both of them will bring up a dialog box. Okay, so we've got that going for us. For that, you give it a name and hit Save. Oops, let's jump back to that. You give it a name, specify when to save it. Like I said, if it's your My Documents window or your thumb drive or wherever, and save your file. Other options we have: Open. If you have a file you've already created that you would like to open, you can use the Open command. Again, you'll get a dialog box. You navigate to the direction, location you want to go, and find your file. File Close. Closes a file when you're done working with it, but leaves Word open. Info is the screen that gives you general information about the document, who created it, size, dates, those sorts of things. Recent only works if you're on your own machine. It'll keep track of recent files. The lab computers, it doesn't do much, but you can, if you can't remember what you saved something, recent might help you track it down. New is when you want to create a new document. Now, one of the cool things about new, most people go new, blank document, create, boom, and that's all you do, and you have a blank sheet of paper and you're ready to go. But if you look down here, these are all something called templates, and templates are pre-existing formats for things. So maybe you need to make, let's see what they've got. I thought they had calendars. Maybe you have to do a resume for something. Let's find some resumes. Do we have resume on here? Alright. Sorry. Look at that. That's good. Personal. See what we get. And there's resume. Okay. So, click that. Open it up. This is kind of an interesting resume design, but essentially it's pre-designed. You could type in the date. So, I don't know why you're doing a date on a resume, but again, this is just to give an example of how a template works, and if it's what you're wanting to do is something that's common, like business cards or calendars or invitations or something like that. This gives you some options. And then Save and Send is another one where you don't use it too often. Maybe you want to send something to email, but most people just go straight to attaching it. But one of the things I like on this is the Create PDF document, and Create PDF. What that does is it saves it as a PDF file. And what a PDF file is a file that you can send to anybody. So if they don't have Microsoft Office, but they need to open it, maybe it's an invitation or a newsletter or something like that, saving it as a PDF, I'm just going to give it a name real quick, and hit Publish instead of Save. Saving it as a PDF then is something that anyone, so you're sending an invitation or newsletter to your grandmother who doesn't have Microsoft Word. PDF puts it in a format where with a free download she can open it and use it, and that's our PDF there. And then File and Exit would take you out of Word. Okay, so those things are all of the ribbon options. A couple other things we have on the screen. Up here we have something called the Quick Access Toolbar. That's the Save button, exact same as the Save on the file ribbon. This is Undo and Redo, okay, and you can see it's a drop down, so if you do more than one thing you can go back further. If you make a mistake, great thing to use. I happen to have Print and Preview and Print up. You can customize your ribbon by clicking on this drop down. Over here are the Windows management, so minimize, maximize, and close. Those should be fairly familiar. Down at the bottom left, we have a status bar, and we'll get into the right when we get into the Word screen. Okay, so this video is going to show you how to open the assignment in LAMP, save it, and introduce you to the Word window. So let's start in LAMP. I'm assuming you're logged in. We'll go to the assignment section. Find the Practice Word assignment, click on the one that's called Word Practice Document, and we'll open that, and then we'll use the File Save As command to make sure we save it somewhere. Now you don't want to save it necessarily to the temp folder, so if you're on your computer or in the library, use My Documents, or if you have a thumb drive, that's even better. And I forgot to plug one in. So I'll just save it here, and I'm just going to save it in My Documents for right now. Okay, I just created this in an older version of Word, so just click OK, and you're ready to go. Now we are in Microsoft Word, and in Word, to get started, you want to get familiar with the screen and the different parts of the screen. Across the top, we have the ribbons and the ribbon menu. So the home ribbon, insert ribbon, page layout, references, mailings, review, view, and add-ins, okay? If you're in the lab, your computer may not look exactly like mine because I have my ruler turned on. The default now for the ruler is off. If you would like to have the ruler on, and again, it's just for spacing. There's some formatting you can do, but we're not going to get into it that much. You can turn it on or off on the view ribbon, okay? We will learn about Word by working through the different ribbons, but today we're just getting kind of an overview. The next part, like I said, there's the ruler. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal, but again, I like to use it for spacing purposes. Down the side on the right, we have the scroll bar. And let me go ahead real quick and make my document, let me just make it triple space so we have a little bit longer document to scroll through, okay? I can drag to move through my document. I can click on the scroll bar above or below the scroll box to move a screen at a time through my document. I can use the arrows to do a line at a time. So I have different options with the scroll box. Down here on the left, I have the status bar. That tells me how many pages I have, how many words I have, and over on the right I have the view buttons and the zoom slider, okay? And we have normal view, we have reading view if you ever had a document that you wanted to read. I'm going to close out of that. We have outline, that's web preview view. If you ever needed to create a web page and you didn't know how, you could create one in Word. It's not ideal, but it works. Outline view, which is working with the outlining tool. If you had a major paper to do, that would be handy. And then plain text. I'm not quite sure what that one's doing there or why it's zoomed down to 10. We also have the zoom slider, so I can make this bigger or smaller, however I want to with the slider, or I can, let's drag it for that. Okay, so that's kind of the views. If you're watching this because you weren't in class, I tend to ask you to watch what I'm doing and then follow along. But for the selecting, which is what I'm going to talk about next, go ahead and try it with me. You're not going to change anything in your document, and we'll work on that together. Selecting or highlighting text is an important skill, and most people just know, actually, let me, before I do anything else, make that back to single spaced. Okay. Again, dragging to highlight is what you would do if you need to apply some formatting or copy or move or do anything to text. And most people just go through live dragging, and that works. It's fine, but there are some shortcuts that can make you more efficient, and our goal is always to make you more efficient. One thing you can do is double click on a word. Double-clicking on a word selects just that word. Okay, so that's convenient. If you want a line of text, you can move your mouse. When your mouse is in the document, it's an I-beam. When it's in the left, the white space to the left of your document, it's in the selection bar. That's it changes to an arrow, and when you click, it will select a line of a text at a time. So that's the selection bar, and you can do a line at a time. You can do a paragraph at a time by double-clicking. Okay, and actually I can use the selection bar to drag multiple paragraphs, to click and drag. And if I triple-click in the selection bar, it selects my entire document. So that's another little shortcut. You saw me do that earlier. If I want to do a big block of text, or if say I'm selecting and I accidentally go too far and I want to back it up, I can use Shift-click to kind of shorten or lengthen. Okay, so click here. I could click to the S in thoughts. I could add up. I could shorten it. Okay, so you can see how Shift-click is great, especially if you're trying to select something and it keeps scrolling off the screen and you're getting frustrated. Just remember to hold down Shift, and you can click at the beginning, hold down Shift, and click at the end. Okay, and I'm going to end this little video up by showing you how to save a file or upload a file to your Dropbox in LAMP. So go ahead and make sure you've saved this one. We haven't really made any changes to it, but that's okay. We'll be making changes next time. As I said, play around with the selecting. On page 3 of the Word handout, you can find all those ways of selecting done. But once you have it saved, you'll need to navigate back to LAMP and then go to your Dropbox. Okay, we're in assignments because we opened the assignment. Go to your Dropbox and then go to Add and Upload Files and move to, I like to switch to Browser Upload. Browse to wherever you saved it. Let's see, I just put it in Documents. Okay, Word Practice document, open, and then Upload Files now. And you always want to get in the habit of doing that when you're working, because that way, no matter where you work on these assignments, if you're in the lab or if you're doing it at home because you missed a class, you've got access to that file. Okay? All right.